Well, I didn't know what happened, Peppy. Next thing I know, I look at chat board. Next thing you know, the stream finished. I go, what the hell happened now? I think I know what happened. I think I must have. I think I must have touched something on the on my keyboard or something. I don't know what it was, but I'm back. Oh boy, take a break. Yeah, it's coming along pretty good, Peppy. One night we'll get the active fire control stations on. I think we'll do right now on this thing. I'm going to finish up the winches right here. Get the mushroom head on this vent here over the turret here. And call it a night tonight. And tomorrow we'll go ahead and install the after house back here. Get a tripod nest going on. Better change the blade. That blade's getting dull. We got plenty of blades here. Must last me almost a year. Oh Lord, yes. We got 450 blades in here. And Tony sent me a whole bunch more too, so I'm in pretty good shape with the X-Acto blade. Now I got a good sharp knife I can cut a lot more cleaner. Take a 5-minute break, hit the stogie, and finish up ship's work. Got 3 watching and 0 thumbs up. Everybody's probably wondering what the hell happened. I don't know, gremlins, I guess, or something. Oh. Hey, Peppy, you seen my Queen Mary yet? Okay. Okay. Right. See if Joe is back on. I think I laid something up. My keyboard was shutting me down. better. Okay. Put these on. Okay. I'll get these winches on here and we'll call it a night. Oh, it's like it's the only ones here, Peppy, just you and me. Everybody else probably just signed off. Scissors over here. I think I got too much junk like that. Okay, clip up the clothes here so they're round. Black us out. Okay. See if Jovis G's back on. That's all peppy. Hey, there's Freddie. Start to shape up, Freddie. I got the boat cranes going. I got the foremast going on there. The mighty battleship for the great state of Oklahoma is starting to sharpen up, old buddy. Yeah, we're starting to get a little rain out here too, buddy. Yep. Now I know, Pepe. That's war is full of destruction, you know. Such a pretty battleship, you know. She didn't get a chance to kick the Japs' rear end or nothing, you know. She chose the sea to be her death, you know. She didn't want to be scrapped with a dismantling tour, so she chose Davy Jones' Locker. When they told her San Francisco would be sold for scrap, you know, she didn't get a chance to fight. From what I heard, no, you know, Oklahoma was a great ship. A lot of people love being aboard it. My Uncle Mac was on that thing for about 5 years. All those old battleships sailors were on these things for a long, long time, you know, because it was their home. Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. More to go. Oh, what a difference new blade makes. Okay, come over here and do this. Beautiful. Yeah. Actually, it's like a battleship to me. Of course, it's the Battleship Oklahoma. Wow, so sealer on there. Check the chat board. And we're making headway, guys. We really are. Freddie, you get the paper models anywhere. You can buy them. You can get them on eBay. You can get them online for free. All you gotta do is get your Google search engine and look up for free paper card model downloads, and it'll take you to certain sites, and then you get some models. They can download them there. What you do is you download them to your files, get yourself a CD-ROM on the CD, put it back in your computer, and burn it off there. Put it on a computer on your disk. You take the disc out of Kinko's or Office Max, and put it in 11 by 17-inch cardstock, 60-pound cardstock, and they'll print out your models for you. There you go. These build up just as good as plastic, much more than plastic, I think. And as you can see, this is all paper, no plastic, no wood. All this is all 100% paper, and it has a different method of construction opposed to plastic and wood. It's an old time modeling form of modeling. When I was a child growing up in this world, there was no such thing as plastic. All there was paper models and balsa wood. That's all that was available till good folks in Revell and Lindbergh and those old ITC and all those other companies started popping out these wonderful injection molded box scale models they made. And this is scale 1/200. It makes an excellent companion next to the trumpeter USS Arizona. There you go. Peppy got one out of eBay. Just go to eBay, Freddie. Is that quicker? Paper models. You'll see them. They're cheap, buddy. They really are. You get yourself a 1/200 scale kit for about maybe $50, $60, somewhere around there. Perhaps $40 or so. Yeah, you can make them float in water, but they got to be sealed. You got to make sure you got no seams open like that. They got to be sealed with a good sealer. Because I'll tell you one thing: two things that'll destroy a paper model: fire and water. You take this model, and if I accidentally knocked over a cup of water on it, right before your eyes, you can see it, the paper starting to swell and sag, and person is ruined. And so water and fire is the worst enemy for these things. Of course, fire destroys everything, but that's only two things that can really do it in. Now with that paper, you can get you can go on if you got a paper, if you got a printer friendly printer, you just print it right off of the downloads right there. You want to download your model right there, just download, put a printer on there, it'll print it out. Make sure it's 8 by something cardstock, whatever it is, A1 paper. Yeah, This is going to be the Pearl Harbor build. So, and I got the B5N Cape. The Arizona will be top notch, and then I have my Pearl Harbor build will be complete. I sure miss my Arizona in my stash. I'm going to have to get up there and get that stuff. I got the Go Fox coming away too, so I get up there, Freddie. And the F3F, I promised you. I'm sure love that V36 again up there. I got hung up there. It looks pretty neat in that ceiling. Yeah. This thing's amazingly strong, very strong. It's heavy too. The Oklahoma is the same class as the Nevada, Freddie. The Pennsylvania class would be the Arizona and Pennsylvania. The Oklahoma and the Battleship Nevada are twin sisters. They were built back in 1911, and the Arizona and Pennsylvania class were made in 1916. So they're both pretty much World War I dreadnoughts. This is the Battleship Texas, came out about the same time, 1911. And you only have two screws, instead of fours, two. I haven't got the screws on because I always put the screws on last, especially doing something like this. Because I'm constantly moving around here and stuff. I want to break the screws, you know. USS Oklahoma, DB-37, circa 1935. This is how it should look back in 1935. By 1940, you got your 5.25-inch open mount guns up here, and they put splinter shields around there. That's the only difference they did to the Oklahoma at Pearl Harbor is that the paint schedule was 5S, like a dark sea blue, and they put splinter shields around these guns. That was it. They had a gun turret back, a gun tub back here. Everything else is pretty much like it is. It does favor the Arizona and Pennsylvania. Her sister ship, Nevada, in Oklahoma, had a bad deal. Bad hand of cards dealt to them. Nevada was used as a test platform for the atomic bomb in Bikini, Operation Crossroads, they call that. And she survived it. She actually survived it. She was painted like an old pink color. And she survived it. And she was unsinkable. I mean, they took her out there, used her as target practice. They finally sunk her. But that was a good ship. They should never sunk that thing. They should have took it and made a museum ship out of that. That was history right there. Survived Pearl Harbor, survived the atomic bomb, then they sink the poor thing. The Oklahoma didn't have a chance chance in hell for nothing. I mean, she was sunk at Pearl Harbor. By 1943, late 1943, she was finally raised from the harbor bottom. And the Navy strictly for Navy register because she had too much extensive damage inside and stuff. With the Iowa class battleships in view, she's redundant. She was obviously didn't need to be. I sure did. I'll tell you one thing. Of all the Pearl Harbor movies that was made, Toro came out in September of 1970. That was the most accurate Pearl Harbor movie it was. Wasn't no romance, hitting the sack with a woman, having a good time, and kissing and loving and everything else. It was right down the business. It showed you how it all got started. It was directed by Japanese and American advisors, actually militarists that were in the United States Navy and Army Air Corps, and also Japan. It was the whole thing was a sham. It was a clown show. I mean, it was we had far enough warning. I mean, Admiral Husband Kimmel was Surpac fleet of the Senpac fleet at Pearl Harbor. He was responsible for all these battleships, the battle line, and he was actually relieved from duty, relieved by Admiral Nimitz. He was charged in the court-martial for dereliction of duty. The only thing this guy did, I know, a lot of historians agree with me. Husband Kimmel and also General Short, all these guys were preparing for war that they did 20 years ago. And they had no faith at all in the aircraft carrier, no faith at all in the airplane. And Admiral Husband Kimmel said, well, we ain't got the airplanes to do all this. So yes, they did. They had that PBY flying boat. That PBY flying boat had a range of over 2,000 miles. All they had to do was have a 24-hour search, 12 hours a day search, flying around those islands like that, 12 hours. One PBY would complete his 12 hours recon search. He'd take off, go back to Honolulu, another one would take it space. They would have caught that fleet. They would have found that fleet. They would have notified Pearl Harbor. They said, look, we got a Japanese flotilla coming this way. 6 aircraft carriers, the whole of the Japanese Navy's coming this way. By that time, they had enough time to get the boilers fired up, get swim patrol, muster all the sailors, get aboard these ships, signal up all lines, and get the hell out of the harbor, and let them come, and we got them by surprise. If they would have did that, there would be no Pearl Harbor, but there's another form of arrogance that got us in the war. Exactly. That last Pearl Harbor movie I seen with who the hell was it? Alec Baldwin and a couple of the characters right there. Two guys, close friends, fall in love with the same girl. That was crap. They should let that stuff out of the movie. Ruthie and I went and watched that back in 98, 2000, when it came out, somewhere around that time. I told us the last Pearl Harbor movie we ever seen, because Hollywood put their dibs into it. But Tora is the best movie. I highly recommend that. I want to tell you, this is the truth, guys. I was in the Navy when I came home from leave and watched that at the seminar. And I heard the name of and I watched it. It was an excellent movie. I had a buddy of mine named Dayton Bradley. He said, Frank, down 21st Century Fox Studios in Lancashire Boulevard in L.A., they got all those model ships out there using Tora. They're up for auction. So how much money you got? Well, I got about $8,000 on it. He said, I got that much. He says, well, we go down there, let's put a bid on some of that stuff. Well, this is what I did. We went down there, and they had the Oklahoma that was there. It was all burnt up. They had fire damage on the. They set these charges on there. Most of them was smoke damage, and these things were 35 feet long. And they had the battleship Nagato was there. It was 40 feet long. It was big, huge. It was huge. And I put a bid in for $3,000. I won that Japanese Kuba class destroyer, and I won that on the auction. It was 16 feet long, and it had two big old electric boat motors, two little electric 1/3 horsepower electric motors in it, ran by two 12-volt batteries. And it was probably about, the width of it was probably about a good almost 2 feet wide. It was painted like a green gray color, and I had put it on a boat alley and took it home. What my dad said, I said, what the hell did you just get? I said, Dad, I won this at the auction. That movie Tour. I said, yeah. They had a whole auction. I said, one guy got the Arizona, one guy got the Pennsylvania, and not Pennsylvania, but he got the Tennessee and the Maryland. They said he paid $12,000 for them things. I said, man, so how much you paid for this? I told him which it was. He goes, no, what are you going to do with this damn thing? I said, no, put it out in the water. I had a house out on the beach at the time, so I put it out there in the water out there. You want to believe people out there just looking at that thing. And me and Brenda, we got married and everything and stuff, but having kids, so I had no time for it, so I sold it. We got out of Redlands out in California. But that was a treat to behold. It really was. Yeah, they sure did. That was crazy too. Alec Baldwin portrayed Jimmy Doolittle. Used the B-25Js off the deck of an aircraft carrier. Really fast. They combined both events, you know. Scale from 1 to 10, I give that movie a 5. That's about it. Because I like those models they use in. That was it. Some of the scenes they used that movie were done in a movie called Winds of War out in Port Hueneme, California. They had when I was living out in Port Hueneme, California, just before we moved to Ohio, I sold my house on the beach and everything. And I came home, I heard all these airplanes buzzing a little ways. What the hell's going on? An air show going by here or something? I looked up, I seen a Jap Zero flying over. Actually, it was a B-19 vibrator. It looked like a Kate B-5N Kate. It was flying over. And right across Port Hueneme is just a naval base out there. Right across the Navy base out there in Oxnard, California. They had Pearl Harbor out there. Man, that was neat as hell. And they used some scenes out of that and out of that movie. Exactly, Freddie. Absolutely, they did. They looked like AT-6 Texans. That's what they were. No, A6M5s were not used for Rob. You're right. The two models were used, I think they were. The one you gave me, that anniversary, that's what used at Pearl Harbor. AM-62s. Oh yeah, they still got those old birds using Tora. Yeah, that was one hell. I watched it about 2 nights ago. When I was working on the Oklahoma, I got done, so I want to watch that movie again. I may watch it again tonight. That's one movie you cannot stop watching. But you know something that's so real, you can see the mistakes that Washington made. You know, I mean, it was just a blunder, and they had the intelligence of getting out all those messages out. They finally got it's supposed to come out at 1 o'clock our time, you know, and we got the Japanese had no idea at all that we didn't get the message. They felt really some of them really felt bad about that. Admiral Yasuki Yamamoto, he did. He was pissed. He said, "Oh, God damn!" And all the Japanese military surrounding us says, "Man, what's the matter, Admiral?" So you ought to be joyed. So we enjoyed. All we did is woke up a sleeping giant and fill him with nothing but resolve. He said, I told you people what's going to happen. If we go to war with America, they could be the most formidable foe that we ever fought. And they will not give up either. They'll go to the end. So, because that rally with Pearl Harbor would be their rally call. And Yamamoto, he's the one that designed the thing because he knew, because he was an attaché to Washington, D.C. He studied at Harvard. I mean, he studied at Harvard, and he's a very educated man. The reason why he went back to Tokyo, Japan before, because he wasn't going to sit there and let his country go up in smoke. As a military man, He must act accordingly as a Japanese. He warned all the militaries out there, look, a lot of people are misinformed about American people. American people are not isolationists. They're very just people. And they said, if you go to war with America, we're going to regret it. As I can only guarantee you people anywhere from 5 to 6 months of victory. After that, I can't guarantee anything after that. He was right. A lot of people say, who's the Japanese started the war? No, the Japanese did not start that war. We did. We put an embargo against them. It's because they invaded China during Manchuria back in 1937, the rape in Nanking. I mean, it was a Japanese Asian thing. They had no beef with us in the first place. Japanese and Chinese always had a hard on with each other. I mean, it's just like ants. You got black ants, army ants, red ants, all at battle. They can't stand each other. And the Japanese needed materials like all the rubber for tin from Malaysia and oil, the Dutch East Indies. They needed all the stuff to build up their economy. But they did it the wrong way. They're slaughtering Japanese women, Chinese women and children and men. And we didn't like that. Roosevelt says, knock that stuff off. Don't do that no more. You can't do that. To make sure, he sent his fleet all the way from San Diego to Pearl Harbor out there to reinforce exactly what he told the Japanese. Japanese did not like that, especially when we slapped an embargo against them. We cut them off. They didn't like that. So the only way they could win victory is to take out our fleet. And hoping that we give up, so, okay, here's our assets, we've had it, you beat us. You guys do what you want to do, but they were wrong. We retaliated. Like I said, I'm watching 2 thumbs up. Well, I had a fluke a while ago. I was on about 2.5 hours. So next thing you know, the whole computer went down on me. I go, damn, what the hell happened? I think I know what it was. I set the stuff up, hit the keyboard, did something. I don't know. Oh-ho. Yeah, you're right, Freddie. The lieutenant says, oh, don't worry about it. I mean, upon the point, those guys were pretty well trained radar men. They said we got a big large blip coming from the north. Like I said, they should have used those PBY flying boats as reconnaissance aircraft. 100 to 150 mile search around those islands. If they would have picked up on those planes, they could have had a telegraph feed. They got a telegraph all the way to Pearl Harbor. You got a squadron of Zeros and dive bombers coming this way. The whole Jet Navy's out here. They had enough time to get the ships out of harbor. It'd have been a whole different ball game. But we definitely was a nation not prepared for war at the time. We weren't. General Billy Mitchell in 1921 had his court-martial warned his militias before they court-martialed this man. He said, we must update our aircraft, our Navy, and our Army. We can't go to war with these crates. He says, they're going to attack us. Says, well, who's going to attack us? Yeah, it's court-martial, Japan. I said, they're a nation to reckon with. During the Battle of Tsushima, when they defeated the Russians, they said, you can't underestimate your enemy. Never underestimate your enemy. And he was right. Well, guys, I think I'm gonna get off here. I've been here long enough. We got a lot done on the Oklahoma tomorrow episode. We're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put the boat crane back on it and work on the tripod mast of the Mammoth. That'll be it for tomorrow. And after that, the fun part of coming in is put these 14-inch guns on here. We got three. We got three here and two up here, and I got a lot of detail work to do on this thing. I got my little miniature lathe I have over here. I can turn me some searchlights, and I got some extra 20mm guns too, off my battleship Iowa that I have left, and so I'm going to use those and put them on here instead of making them on the kit. The kit gives you, but they're all paper, but they don't look too good. But I figured you get a lot more 3D out of those trumpeter ones. This is 1935 circa, and they had those splinter shields on here, so they're open mounts. Yeah. Mighty Oklahoma. I was really hoping if they have a search for that, they could find that thing and have a special video on that. All the other ships they found all the ships. They found the Annapolis, the Yorktown, the Hornet, the Akagi, the Yamato, and everything. They even found the battleship Nevada too. She's at about 3 miles deep, out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean where it sunk her at. The Bismarck, the Titanic, the Lusitania. They found all the ships. I was really hoping either the battleship Maine that was sunk in Havana Harbor during the Spanish-American War. She was towed from the harbor all the way about a mile, 2 miles out of the harbor, and they found her about a mile down. And yeah, I'm really hoping if they'd look for the battleship Oklahoma. They had her patched up and everything. They could not find the patches that match the torpedo blisters. This thing. The thing had a hell of a bulge, the torpedo blisters. So they tore off part of the blisters they didn't need, and they just patched up where the torpedoes went to the hull, just got to get it to San Francisco. But they said you got caught in the storm, and it was taking on water. One of those patches gave out. And she was taking on water. She'd start to have a list like you did at Pearl Harbor. And the tugboat Hercules thing it was, a couple other tugs they're towing it. They just cut the mooring cable and says, "We don't do that. She'll take us down." So I think this is around 500 miles out of Oahu, out in the South Pacific, go towards San Francisco. So imagine it's out in the middle of the ocean out there. Deep water. Well, guys, I think old Frank Lee's going to fudge out for the night. So join me tomorrow night. It'll be Tuesday. We're going to have live action Tuesday. And we're going to do the after fire controls and do the boat crane. And probably they got an after house back here too I got to build up. We got all the fittings on there except the bits. I'll get the bits as I fit it out more. After that, we'll get the guns going. Now, Freddie, we'll catch you on the Facebook here in a couple of seconds, buddy. Make Mama happy. Take care of little ones. Stay focused. You drive. You worry surroundings. Get yourself a kit. Get cold outside. We got it's October right now, and yesterday was United States Navy's birthday, and we got a few good weeks. You know, We go out and do outdoor activities here, like barbecue or something, or go to a festival or something that they got going on. Well, it's going to get cold this winter, so we got winter coming up. So you got to prepare for that eventuality. That's a lot of model building. Okay, that's it for the Oklahoma. That's it for me. And the Big O and I will see you tomorrow. It'll be episode number 7 for the Oklahoma Pearl Harbor build I got going on. And Freddie inspired me doing a Pearl Harbor build. I accepted. So right now I got the B5N Cape Island. Also got the B5N 135 scale border models, like B5N Cape and carrier deck kit. And all I need is the Arizona, and I'll be ready and done. Okay, I'm out of here. God bless everybody. I'd like to thank all my new and old subscribers for your wonderful candor and your comments and views. And may God bless. We guys catch you tomorrow. Take care, fellas. I love you guys very much. You guys take care of yourself. And be good. If you can't be good, be careful. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. Bye, boys.